All right, I tried a couple times. Jack just wants to co-star, so Jack, be good. All right, this whole thing with when you're looking at Trump and Musk and how everything is put together, there is a plan that's been built from the Heritage Foundation going back to the 70s, and since then they've been putting into place these little tiny pieces of a jigsaw puzzle for the long game that many people have been ignoring because they're just little tiny things that don't mean much in like different states and appointments to different long-lasting lifetime positions and the manipulation from strategic corners and doing stuff under the radar to a point until you get to someone like tying in with Donald Trump, who is the absolute most obnoxious marketing person, con man ever. And it puts them in a weird position, but it forces them to go forward on their agenda. Not that they are upset about that, because that's what they ultimately want. In a way that the extremity of it all, the way that it's happening so fast, the shock and awe, the spray and pray, that's the goal. Because if you have a whole bunch of objectives being met at the same time by a bunch of very, very powerful people with a lot of really, really direct access to stuff that's detrimental to their own futures, there's going to be a priority list of where to hit first. And if players in this game are facing indictments or possibly losing their company or, federal prison or international blah, 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 those people have a lot to lose if the evidence and the investigations and everything that's currently going on under whoever's whatever, all of that becomes a problem that needs to go away for everybody involved. So if you're looking at all of these big players with all of this money, with all of these lawsuits, all of these investigations, and all these things going on, like this Sun guy, Melania Trump's meme coin goes live January 1st, 2025, like January 1st for tax reasons, duh. $30 billion from a guy who's under not only SEC investigation, but also FBI investigation, also international investigations, and $30 billion the next day, all of those investigations go away. Good investment there, right? He was collecting money for pardons, for Christ's sakes, out in the open. The stuff that's going on right now, when you have a driving force like the Heritage Foundation with certain goals, the sideshow fireworks of Trump being the biggest clown douche on earth is welcome to the Heritage Foundation because it gives so much sideshow bullshit that they can get away with what they're doing. And this is the part that's scary to me. There's a website called Project 2025 Tracker.com or something like that. Look it up. It breaks down every single section and subsection of Project 2025, like women's rights, civic, and everything else. Everything from replacing people in government in key positions needed to further the agenda 5 years from now. But if you replace them now, no one will question it. But if you replace them back then, you'd have to. So what happens? As I keep saying, looking at it from the big picture, you're following the Heritage Foundation and all the funky crap going on. You see little tiny news blurbs here and there that make the mainstream media, but nothing's really made of it. Because in the scheme of everything else, it's meaningless. But if you hold on to that nugget and you apply it to that theory of a TV show and this one character line, the storyline of this character that just pops up at interesting times, you collect all of the Heritage Foundation shit. The tie-ins with Trump, the tie-ins with Peter Thiel, the biggest player in this whole thing. We'll get to that. You put all of the pieces on the table, all of the people with all the problems that need to be solved with the SEC, the FBI, the blah, 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 whatever the Fuckistan worldwide. You get worldwide people like the people in El Salvador, like all of these people. How many investigations in the United States are happening all over the world to all of Trump's newest best friends. Have you ever asked yourself that? Have you ever asked yourself why Trump would want to automatically come up with a reason to demand everybody come to the table and force them to do business with him? This is a lifelong con man that found a way to force every country, from the country of penguins to China to Germany to the UK to every country in the world, even down to the country of Mattel, has 100% tariff. Damn it, Barbie. Women, right? Just kidding. But this is my point. You look at all of these people that are players in this. You look at all these people that were sitting in the inauguration. There's your hint. They're sitting in the inauguration. How many investigations are going on Facebook? How many were going on TikTok? And why was TikTok up for grabs anyway? And who's actually buying TikTok right very now at the minute? Trump's biggest campaign donor. One of them. Brent something. Brass something. Anyway. It's all tied in together. And the person that used to be a roommate with Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and all of those folks that were, Jeff Bezos too, I believe, was in that house. You know that house in Silicon Valley where all the billionaires, that are now billionaires, basically were roommates because they couldn't afford a house in Silicon Valley? I think it's 23, 24. Look it up. Peter Thiel was one of them. Look where they all came back together. It's all part of the big puzzle. So if you could get someone involved with, say, places like USA Aid that have active investigations, you have someone who has the opportunity to get rid of investigators in, say, the SEC, the FBI, the CIA, all of the above, and you can get rid of any of those people for any reason because you freaking say so. You have the Congress that was strategically placed a long time ago for this same purpose, backed by this same people that are told how to vote on every single thing. And that is obvious beyond obvious when you look at the big, beautiful bullshit bill that Cheeto von Schitzen's pants and the red side of the world put up, stripping over $1 billion from the people who need it the most, including $1 billion from veterans benefits. These are the people that own the companies that make the money by doing all this, privatizing prisons and stuff like that, or putting farmers all out of business so they're forced to sell their farms, where 80% of the farms that were sold during the first Trump administration, if you look back, has something to do with a company that J.D. Vance was a bigwig in, I think vice president of. So why wouldn't it matter if half of the farmers, or whatever the percentage was of farmers, had to sell their farms out because of the tariffs in the first Trump administration? You see how it works yet? All of a sudden, there's a big push for real estate and oil drilling in national parks and parkland. He had that in the tax bill, too. There was verbiage for that. Drilling in parklands and selling it off to the highest bidder, never to be reclaimed or pristine again. It's all out there, ladies and gentlemen. And if you look at the big picture and you look at all of the people involved and everything they were fighting, everything that they had looking for them, coming after them, every investigation, every regulation that made their lives difficult, you can tell by just the lead up to the election contest, with the dinners blatantly asking for $1 billion, and you'll get to oil executives, write your own regulations, quote unquote. There's an investigation that was going in that had documents of the regulations actually being written by these oil companies, multiple, which means payments logically maybe need to get looked into. Oh yeah, that's right. The DOJ does that. You see how it's all working? And every court case ends up back in the Supreme Court eventually. Every punishment, everything else. You see how it's working yet? Down to the court clerks. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been piece-by-piece jigsaw puzzle of the Heritage Foundation since the 70s. And Donald Trump's helping to turbocharge it. More on this in the next video. Stay diligent, stay educated, be kind. We are all in this together. Stand unified. We got each other. We'll make it through this. because that's what this country does. We rebuild better.